Thank you very much. Woo. All right, I should be back. I'm pretty sure I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, I'll reintroduce this. So this is my round two game. It is the most disturbing, or let's say disappointing, of my rounds from this last tournament. I feel like I'm playing a 2200. I feel like I should have won. I've done 7 pages of notes, and I'm not even halfway through the game. So I need to type in the notes so I can go over the first part of this game with KGB later today. Right. So, okay. What am I doing? What am I doing? Cry, what are you doing? Go back to the board. But knight bd2 might still be the best move, and otherwise queen c1 is the thought. Okay, so we're just going to mention queen c1. We don't need to go into it. Okay, so here's the tactic that I missed. Queen b2, and I played bishop d3, but obviously the point is that I didn't really see rook b1, queen, rook, bishop, queen, bishop a3, minus plus. I've seen this trick before, so it was sad not to see it in advance here. I did, however, know from going over a student's London games that queen b2 is always at least compensation for white. Okay. Actually, continue that. And so while I lose a tempo here, black's c6 is nobody's charm. Does that make sense? I don't know. It makes a little bit of sense to me. I guess it's not not the most grammatical. Well, on queen c2, this would be great for white because the rook is just a beast. I don't want KGB to see that. I don't want KGB to see that. I want to make it. I want to, because this we're gonna get so intense with the variations later that yeah. So bishop d3. I'm not gonna give it an exclam just because it's like a box. Do I get a box in chess base? They don't give me a box option. Back in the day, you guys might not even know what that means, box. But that was like back in the day when we say only move. So there, yeah, chess base doesn't give me the box option. Only move, there it is. Box. Oh, the old-fashioned box. Informator. It's sale. Thank you for doing the subscription. Kosi will be less mad at me. He never gets mad at me. Kosi's really nice, honestly. So bishop d3, I gotta do it. The guy takes, and my sense was that I had compensation, but not more. In a few moves, however, my position seems to be amazing. And it wasn't clear where black went wrong. Yeah, you don't want to take away his avocados, man. Kosi would basically cease to exist without the avocados. Okay, so now dude plays queen a3. And I did some long analysis here about various, and with some students, because I showed this game to some students as well. And let's try to write down some of these things these variations. So if knight a6, rook b1, snip here, knight b4, castles, queen a6, rook c7, queen b6, queen a4. And I'm going to say with initiative here. That's my special initiative. That's my sense of that position. Probably winning, but I'm just going to say with initiative. Then bishop b4. Some students of mine also thought about this one. Check to the queen. Castles, knight d7, rook b3, bishop d6. We're going to call that with initiative. Yeah, this is 90-30. And then also I looked at bishop b4, rook b1, bishop d2, knight d2, queen a2, rook b7. I'm going to call that a clear advantage. Let's just say boom. Okay. So much later, I'm going to look at this with the computer, and who knows what the thing is going to say. But my takeaway from this, especially because the position he ends up getting looks so terrible. It's actually pretty resilient, but it looks so terrible. And so it seems like even though I committed a crime with bishop e2, d3, that may be better than full compensation here. So queen a3, rook b1. Again, I just want to, I didn't say this before. I lost the score sheet, or maybe those stupid organizers stole it from me. I wanted to keep the white one and not the carbon copy, and they were always trying to steal the white one from me. So b6, queen c2, knight e7, castles, knight d7. Okay, so here we go. Critical position. My intuitive sense during the game was that I should be much better. During the analysis, I discovered that black's position is still fairly resilient. I think you guys would agree, right? This looks horrendous for black. This looks horrendo for the guy. Chess stock, hello. I could have taken a photo of the score sheets, but I like to have my score sheets. Here's the other ones I got from the tournament, and I'm old school. I keep the things. They always try to steal the white one. I'm like, you guys don't even publish the games, you fools. Give me the white one. I wrote down my times on it. It's an artifact. In any case, I remember the game, but the time signatures are very important, and KGB is correct in wanting to look at how long I thought on given moves and yada yada. Okay, so this is the critical position. I have spent hours on this position. And my first intuition afterwards was that this was a mistake. And I don't think it actually was, but this is what I'm going to write. Even if this move is not technically a mistake, I don't like it. 1. Rook c8 is forced from black. Rook c1 is not. 2. The rook probably wants to go to e1. 3. Bishop a3 might show up and accelerate black's development. Okay, those are the reasons. Also, I suspect let's say this. I played the move intuitively, not realizing that this was the moment to gain a sense of what I was doing. Okay, there we go, boom. Okay, so now what was the correct variation? I've spent a long time and I got like a mass of variations, and one of the things I try to do when I do this chess-based file is not to write down everything that I wrote, but rather to condense it, make it as clean as possible. And my sense is that the correct variation is h4. I think the guy needs to play h5. And the intention from black is to play rook c8, knight g6, and then move his bishop out. And to say that the c6, d5, e6 pawn chain will hold his position together. So here we go. e4, rook c8. And now amazingly, I think rook c1, which doesn't look right, is the correct move, intending rook b3 in half a second. So, knight g6, bishop g3. Uh-oh, what's going on here, Cry? Sorry for a second, it's just a little confusing here. Oh, wait a second, here we go. So, man, now it's confusing. Sorry about this. So, Cry, rook c8. Right. Go like this. Rook b3. This is my, hold on, promote. And get rid of this variation. Clean it up. All right, rook b3. This is where it gets intense. So again, I spent hours on this, and this is the best I could come up with my human mind. And now if bishop a3, I go this one. Bam! Nice little trick. obviously anti-intuitive to go into the endgame. Yeah. King e7, e takes, knight f1, and I'm going to say that's an advantage for white. That's this long-ass variation to say that was like one of the, there's other variations here, but that's like one of the best play variations that I came up with. Now, the computer will probably rip me apart, but I like it a lot. And it's actually kind of cool that it's still very imbalanced, but we're saying that now the worst piece in the position, the knight on d2, is going to be able to have a ball. And of course, my rook on c6 is amazing. All right, now the other intention could be that on rook, instead of bishop a3, the guy could play bishop e7. And then I was looking at ed, knight f1, got to fix the knight, castles, and now rook c3 again. If knight e3, I didn't understand f5. You know what I was going to do against f5. It looked really annoying. So rook c3. Queen takes, rook takes, c5 seems forced. Knight e3, knight f6, knight f5, and I gave this as, I evaluated this as slightly better for white. That's right, Crow. Plus equals. You can tell I'm a boomer GM because I'm using all these old symbols from when the informant used to be the thing. But even today, people use plus equal. A little bit better for white. All right, so I have some other variations. Let's get into it. Also, again, with bishop e7, ed, knight f1. Oh, and I also tried rook 1, c2, f5. This is no good because the knight takes g6. I didn't even understand that the knight was hanging on g6 in some of my earlier variations. Okay. Okay. Then I looked at this move, which is kind of weird, and then it would go ed, rook e1 check, knight e7, queen b2. Oh, that is a strong move. Yes, queen b2. Thank you very much. We're going to say with initiative. I want to say, you guys, let me just say this. This analysis I did, really confirming my prejudices of analyzing your games as being the way, simply the way to improve your chess. It is, yeah, the variations here, man, stunning. Deep crud that, in terms of calculation, evaluation. Later we're going to talk about some end games. Opening, like can he take on b2 and what's the dynamic, that kind of stuff. It's all there. I would recommend analyzing your games like this, Chess Stock. That was the answer I just gave. I don't think either of one of those is good as what we're doing right here. Okay, and then I also looked at c5. That can't be right, though. Queen b2, knight g6, and then c4. That ain't going to do it, son. ed, dc, rook e3. Let's say clear advantage. Okay, so what am I trying to say? This was the critical position, and correct play to my human eye, is something ends in a position something like that. We'll see what the computer says later, but that's to my human eye. And very surprising, of course, to think that from here, the critical variation would be an endgame. And also that it's not lost for black. And let me just try to say why. Okay, let's try to say this. Actually, I want to write it out. So the reasons for black's potential survival. Rook b3 is met by an annoying queen a4. c6 / d5. e6 is resilient, is tough to crack. And my doubled pawns make opening the position difficult, in addition to hindering the ability of my pieces to transfer from the queen side to the king side. In fact, let's not say pieces, ability of my heavies to transfer from the queen side to the king side. Okay, there we go. Boom. All right. Okay, so here we go. Knight d7 and rook b3, rook fc1. Now, here we go again. So rook c8, and now I played e4. And here the guy goes queen a6. And maybe, we're going to see, I don't like it too much, actually. And we're going to say that if knight g6, bishop g3, bishop e7, h4, h5, rook b3, queen a4, ed, and then we're going to say transposes to the above variation. Amazingly transposes, I thought. The variation we talked about earlier. So ed, and then knight f1, and we get an initiative. Okay. And people are talking about Lichess doing something like chess base, and I'm interested in that as a coach. I'm not interested in myself learning any kind of new technology. I despise technology. But my students, there's a lot of students I have who need some kind of place to be putting a library of their games, going over their games. And I know that both Lichess and Chess.com has some kind of library function as well. And so far, none of my students have been able to really make it work in a way that I find satisfying. But that's something going forward that I need to do, as I need to understand as a coach. Okay, so here we go. Queen a6. The intention of queen a6. Let's say, in fact, let's write intending knight g6, bishop a3. right? And this is getting at the drawback of rook fc1. However, after bishop g3, we renew the question. So, the guy now plays g6. Bishop g3 getting out of the way of knight g6, right? So he plays g6. A big question would be, can dude play knight g6? But then I got snippos, hippos, crackos, tacos, and then this looks unpleasant. Yeah. Plus, minus. So the issue with queen a6 is he can't achieve the development that I presumed in my analysis he had to go for, which was play on the light squares with knight g6, and if h4, always play h5, always play h5, so I can't get in there. Computer might disagree, but that's just the general sense that I'm thinking of. Here's a hilarious thing. Tefosca says that white's position is terrible. Look at his pawn structure. That's a definite. Now, Tefosca, I'll tell you what. If you understand why that is the wrong judgment, then your chess will improve dramatically. Black's in deep doo-doo here, my friend. His king is not, or as my coach KGB likes to say, it is a medical fact that the king's health is not doing so good. How does he say it? It is, the king is not safe. It is a medical fact. Okay. No, double pawns are amazing. Like I said, though, the interesting part about the double pawns in terms of a deficit for me, or a disadvantage of the double pawns, is, let's say the c pawn were on c2 or whatever, I would have the ability to open the position with c4, and that's really what I need to do. And the other thing that's a little bit less obvious is that what I wrote before is that the double pawns are in the way of my heavies transferring. My heavies, I mean queens and rooks, transferring from the queen side to the king side. We're about to see that in a second, why that's important. So bishop g3, g6, and I was a little surprised by this. I was a little surprised by this, and it certainly led to my coming obsession with conquering the dark squares. Okay, so g6, h4. I could have played rook e1 too. I think this is fine though. What am I doing? I'm waiting for him to play bishop h6 or bishop g7. So let's say that bishop g7 is also a thought. But then once he moves it, I play bishop d6. Okay. f6. I didn't think black should be able to play like this. But what else is he supposed to do? But what else can he do at this point? Okay. So, I played. The first move has to be okay. I played rook e1. He plays king f7. And here we have white's next critical position. And I think I'm going to say this next move is the only move so far where I feel like it was definitely a mistake on my part. The problem with e5 is going to be knight f5, okay? And it's part of the reason I now commit my little sin of g4. Well, Paspon, good question. How long do I spend annotating a game? It depends a lot on the game. This particular game is very rich, and I did 7 pages of analysis, handwritten, and that's probably somewhere around 7 hours. I'm halfway done. It does not always take that long. This one is just really fascinating. For example, this position. Actually, in addition to that, I've shown this game in this position to several students. It's a very, very fascinating position. And so, you know, we did a dojo talks last night. We were talking about coaching, and I'm this game, amongst many others, continues to convince me that the way to improve is to look at your games, because you have everything here. You have opening dynamics, and now we're going to get middle game plans, calculation, evaluation, the whole thing, and later we're going to get an end game too. So every part of the game, every skill is going to be involved in this position, in this game analysis. Okay. G4. Okay. The thing I most dislike about this plan is that I'm opening my kimono. And I wish my hand wouldn't have let me do it. So, what is the correct move? Knight f1. Bam! Exclam. We're going to say simple and strong. The move in the game also involves trying to fix knight d2. But this plan keeps my king safe. And to the point of chess base being expensive, like I'm saying, I don't think chess base, it's chess base. Honestly, I have my issues with, because it hasn't improved that much in terms of its software since 1998 when I first started using it. And for my students in particular, it's just user unfriendly. Yeah, it's user unfriendly. By that I mean there's a learning curve to it, and there's several things that it could do and could improve, and they're just not doing it. They're just like ICC. ICC was cool when it first came out, and then they never evolved the software. That's what I feel like ChessBase is just sitting on their hands with it. For example, I lost the score sheet for this game, and I don't have the times, but what I'd really like them to do is let me input the times, and then you can give me a graph of both players' times. Give me a break. So many things with chess base. Okay, I'm done complaining. Let's go on. The key variations were boom, 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 and I'm going to call this with an initiative, the grand initiative. Definitely want to be white. I had actually some practice games. Anyways, simple and strong. Let's write something here. Actually, let's do one more variation. What are we talking about? Rook e8, knight e3, c5, knight g4, queen d2, that's probably a plus minus. Control A. I needed to, well, let's say this. To play this move, I needed to understand that I had time. And that as long as knight d2 got into the game, my position would be great. Okay, now, beyond g4 being a kind of a positional problem, there's a position, or rather, I predicted exactly what was going to happen. And let's write it out here. I predicted exactly the position that would occur, but my evaluation was wrong. Oh, okay. Oh no, Rennick's here, dude. Oh, dude, he's the one who branded me. He branded me, dude, as a boomer GM. It's really rough, man. It's really, really rough. Okay, here we go. So g4, rook e8, e5, bishop g7, and now I'm going to show you the position. Okay, all right, so let's write this out. I was so happy to win the dark squares that I assumed, let's write this, and that my knight now comes in through f3, that I assumed I'd be much better here. Okay. So now I also want to say that this move is also interesting. This move is also interesting, but was not on my radar during the game. And it would go something, there's knight takes is possible. Actually, let's say first of all that, well, knight takes probably should be played. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop g7. I'm assuming that this is winning for white. Knight f3, h6, and then I came up with this amazing variation of h5, gh, g5, queen d2. We're going to say that's a big initiative. with attack, let's say. GH, rook b4 check. It's not check yet, buddy. Here, here, here. Now, if knight f5, knight d4, knight d4, h5, knight e6, knight g6, rook f6. Boom! As a variation I came up with this morning. Kind of like that. Again with attack. I mean, black might be lost at this point. d4 is coming. Okay. Fancy thing. Yeah, dude. That's right, Cheb Chest. Thank you very much. Rennick just calls everybody a boomer. Everybody doesn't like, he's calling a boomer, man. You know what I'm saying? We're not all boomers, buddy. Just because we're a little older than you doesn't mean we're boomers. Jeez, Melise. Generation X, dude, we get no respect from the kids. They're just like, you're boomer this and boomer that. They don't even understand. To the Zoomers, dude, the Zoomers were all boomers. That's right. To the Zoomers, we are all boomers. That could be quoted. I don't even know what RuneScape is. Okay. So in any case, this position is a wild mess after 95. But I want to focus on this. And here's the position I misevaluated. C5, knight f3, cd, queen d2, knight c6. And to my horror, I realized that black has a French structure with both knights covering the blockade squares. Okay. All right. I played knight d4. I don't know what else to do. And dude now played e5, which I'm pretty sure is a mistake. Knight d4. Queen f4. King g8. My first intuition during the game and in the analysis was that black might well be better here. In the end, though, I couldn't find a clear path for him. So now we've got to show some variations. Oh, Mannered Monkey, I totally agree. I totally agree with what you're saying about chess space. And just like ICC, for the longest time, no one was challenging ICC, and they never developed their product, dude. But that they had the monopoly because everybody was there. Yeah, and I'm telling you guys, there's so much money that Chess24 has, Chess.com, and Lee Chess might not have money, but it has resources. And dude, someone's gonna come up with a chess space, something that's much better than chess space. Thing is also slow, you know? Okay, rant over. Um, so queen f4, and now knight f5, gf, ef. If here, I'm going to say, let's call that a question mark, queen h4, king g8, g6, hg, queen n, king f7, queen h7, and I'm winning. Okay, so ef, queen h4, king g8. If h5, gh, knight f6, and here I had a good move. I think it's h7. Let's get into it. Right, I was doing that this morning. Oh, so many variations. Yeah, just h7. I got a huge initiative. So, king g8, queen d4, queen a2, rook e8, rook e8, rook a1, queen here, rook here, queen here, and now both bishop b4 and bishop f4 have compensation. Maybe better than compensation, honestly. I'd rather be white. Okay. So, in addition, queen d4, he could play queen b7 now, but then he's running into bishop a3, and then he's lost, I guess. You know? Lost. Oh, not that one. Plus minus. Okay. So, amazingly, we're getting rid of then knight f5 as a variation. At least, I have compensation. So king g8, queen d4. And now we got a ton of variations that are interesting. It seems on the surface, to my surface anyway, that black, at first I thought black was better here, but it goes like this. Queen a2, rook a1. And if queen d2, for the longest time I was looking at bishop b4, but simply bishop f4, and I'm doing great. I think I'm winning. It's just amazing. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm winning that. So queen a2, rook a1, and then e5 is the next question. Could dude play this move? All right, now slow it down for me here, Crying. One thing would be boom, 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 boom. And we're going to say white should hold. But I think I have better than that too. So e5. And I just play queen b4. Please promote that variation. And I'm winning, I think. Or it's at least huge. It's a huge attack. Because if a5, queen b5 is plus minus hit, I'm touching the knight. And if something like queen c2, it's not something like, that's his only other move. I got rook a7, let's promote this. with a monster attack. I mean, winning, right? Winning is just too much. So. Okay, good. So that means that in this position, Queen B7, let's promote it, probably needs to be played. And then, what did I say here? Whew, 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 whew. I don't like black's position, dog. I do not. Um, but hold on. Hold on, buddy. What are you saying here? So the threat is Queen C6, and if Bishop B4, he's got E5, right? Okay, so. Oh, what a mess. And I got to admit, this is kind of my limit of where I am with the position. That's right. My sense is that white has compensation, but maybe black can slowly nudge me out. Yeah. Okay. So, actually, I'll show what happens in the game, and then, because it kind of gets to, what does it get to, Cry? It gets to our business. 95. And this is I haven't actually done this, so I'm a little bit hesitant. But I played Queen F4, and the other option would have been Rook E5, Queen F4, King E6, Queen here, King here, Queen here. And, ouch. I wasn't certain about what was happening here. Can I just write I wasn't certain? That's right. And black might live. Whereas in the game, I felt King G8, Rook E5. I felt this was winning. Okay. I felt this was a clear advantage. Better king in the heavy middle game. All right, but this is going to be phase 2. And so for the next week, I'm going to go over this. I'm going to go over this up to now with KGB. And then for the next week, I'm going to look at this position onto the dreaded endgame that I then failed to win. So, boss, let's save this thing. My games, boom. I was playing this dude named Senft, which in German means mustard. He was Mr. Mustard. Senft. And I don't know what his FIDE rating was, but let's just say it was 2100 because he was 2200 USCF. And it was a draw. And it was round 2. Okay. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. I might come back later to do what KGB told me about this position. And then so many cool things going on in the dojo this week. Let's actually take a quick look. Cry, what's going on in the dojo land today, buddy? I need to look at it too. There's just so much stuff. Well, actually, our schedule isn't out yet. So, but I am doing U.S. Chess School tomorrow at 7, which I have not prepared for. Not prepared for. And Kostya is starting his tournament this week. And if I get to, if they, what do they call it, broadcast his games, then I'll try to cover it here on the dojo. All right, my friends. I'm going to raid somebody. And then maybe I'll be back later. So many cool people to raid. Let's raid this dude named Pawn Grubber. Let's raid the Pawn Grubber, man. Say hello to that guy. I'll be back in a little bit. Thank you for putting up with this. Rennick, thank you for putting up with this, buddy. And if you haven't subscribed yet, give us a subscribe, give us a follow. Check our YouTube videos out. Bye, everybody.
What are you trying to do? He's trying to do the Danish Gambit.